It's often say that truth is strange. Whether that's true or not, who knows, right? Life can be mysterious at times. Miracles are basically things that's beyond our conception, beyond our understanding, beyond what we can truly fathom to be reality, right? Things that occur mysteriously. Well, I got a really good video for you guys. We're going to talk about, well, I'm going to show you guys a few disturbing true crimes coincidences, if that's a word, right? It's pretty good. I was just watching a lot of good stuff, and I really like scary stuff. I might start putting that on my own channel from time to time. But it all deals with mental health awareness at the end of the day. It's all about mindset, right? A lot of people seem crazy, but it's just that they think differently. They see the world differently. And sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's a really good thing because the way that they see the world can be an enlightenment to the world on the dangers of the world. And kind of like an example with Kanye West, he goes on his rants. They say he's spewing a lot of rhetoric about this, about that, about the anti-Semitic, and all of these things, right? That he was saying back in the day. I can say what I want to say. They don't control me like they do Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaq, and different names that he was naming. And fast forward a few years, current day, we see those crazy things he was saying turn out to be semi-true. And this is for entertainment, education, and allegedly, right? I was just watching a video as well, like ODB, Old Dirty Bastard. I forget his real name, and rest in peace to him. He was talking about the three-letter words that the government has, with the IA and sort of, whatever, right? You know what I'm talking about. If you could put the pieces together, he was saying that certain things that they have going on, whether true or not, who knows? But we come to see, fast 4 years later, that they have their hands in some sticky situations. So let's see what's been going on. Is this fact or fiction? We'll decide later on after we review this video and then um, decide for ourselves. I do like watching true crime TV shows and stuff like that. So yeah, this should be interesting.
One of the most stunningly beautiful on Earth. In the background, the darkest, most horrific family stories of two brothers.
Welcome to Watch and Breaking Down Cases, the overlap of Dirk Sands' identity, time, and unsettling teeth.
When I was writing the book about Ted, and Ted was my partner at the crisis clinic, so he was my friend before I had the book contract, and I had that before I knew he was the suspect.
Oh,
Monster of Florence. A past killing that rhymed.
They're running it about a maniac attacking young couples.
May very well strike again.
Italy's Monster of Florence case is one of true crime's most infamous enigmas. A series of 8 double homicides between 916 victims dead in cars or on lanes. Each couple was shot with the same .22 caliber Beretta. No one was ever convicted with certainty.
We've uncovered a connection.
y'all better be crazy people.
Online is a vast yes.
What mindset they have on what led them down.
The same weapon used by our killer from 74 onward was used to kill before.
We've got one single witness. There's one person who...
The suspect, Pietro Pacciani, had history that eerily echoed their crimes. In 1951, he was jailed for murdering his girlfriend, an act of policy resembling the monster's targeted attacks on couples. Investigators later called it a crime in violence. Though no forensic link was proven, Pacciani was acquitted on appeal in 1996 and died 2 years later, leaving the coincidence and the case forever unresolved.
Did I see him?
The Alphabet Murders, initials too perfect to ignore.
It's a crime spree that has stumped investigators for years.
The brutal murders of 3 Rochester girls in the early have never been solved. News NBC's Nikki Rowe has new details never heard before. Tonight, she's taking
Saw 3 nearly identical child murders between 1971 and 1973 that became known as the Alphabet Murders. Victims Carmen each had matching first and last name initials, even found in towns beginning with those same letters. Webster and Mainza in Macedon. Cologne's body was in the near Churchville. All 3 birds was trying to get
maybe a serial killer. People panic.
Monroe County Sheriff's investigators believe this was just the start for a serial killer.
The striking double initial pattern gave the crimes their nickname, double initial murders, and has since inspired books and fictional adaptations. Decades later, the coincidence still haunts Rochester, a set of letters that spelled out might be America's most haunting unsolved puzzle.
There are theories, 1 or 2 killers. First of all, I don't know the answer.
Every investigator I spoke with agrees it could have been one killer.
Are they connected?
I believe they are. I think there's too many similarities.
The dog killing pattern.
3 suspicious figures were reported: a van driver, and a man seen running from the area. The next 10 minutes could be crucial to the inquiry. Unless a viewer can help now, the killer might not be caught until he strikes again.
In England's southwest, 2 unsolved murders a year apart left detectives unsettled by a haunting symmetry. In 1997, 14-year-old Kishel was attacked while walking her dog near Exeter. In 1998, 1-year-old Lynn Bryant was set while walking her dog on a rural.
Wow. But hold on real quick. Have y'all seen the new, I don't know if I showed y'all yesterday about the new ISIS thing in Minnesota? They have the footage of the ICE agent that was there. I'm going to show y'all what happened with that really quick, and we're going to get right back into this. Because that's some crazy stuff, right? Let me go right back really quick. This is right here, then we're going to get right back into it.
Evening from the foot of the Golden Door, but we're going to begin with that new close video out of Minneapolis showing Renee Nicole Good alive and talking to ICE agents just moments before one polar opposite political positions on this tonight. The vice president saying the video today shows that the agent was hit by the vehicle and was, quote, endangered. But in Minneapolis, the mayor claimed the agent walked away unharmed. The, quote, hip injury he might as well have gotten from closing the refrigerator door. Meanwhile, in Portland, 2 more people alleged were shot and wounded by Border Patrol agents just yesterday. And that's where we find our chief correspondent, Matt Gutman, with the very latest. Matt, good evening.
Tony, this is a city on edge. Police telling us they have deployed additional resources. That, as you mentioned, that new video out of Minneapolis reposted by the White House show for the first time the point of view of that ICE agent.
Newly released cell phone video obtained BS News for the first time shows the agent's point of view and what are likely Renee Good's last words. Blocking traffic, he circles around to the driver.
That's a U.S. citizen.
As wife, who's also filming, tries to get into the car, other officers rush towards the driver. Good seems to try to back up, drives forward just before the same agent fires with his right hand. Today, Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison the public to turn over any evidence.
If you have information bearing on the outcome of this matter in any way, please share it.
And just
it looks like people are saying that he was placed by ICE and his wife was shot as well.
In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said happened during a traffic stop. Two people they say were in the country illegally and allegedly to a notorious Venezuelan gang. According to DHS, the driver recognized the vehicle and tried to run agents over. For his life, an agent fired one.
Because the fear and the growing distrust was
What up?
general.
That Venezuelan gang trend.
They out here cutting up real bad, ain't they? The two that got shot, but they in critical condition in Portland, Oregon. That's pretty crazy, right? They out here just getting active, real active. Be real careful driving these vehicles. You know, their word versus your word. It's just how it is in the court of law. He's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But you see how they play, right? They're not playing fair. They're not playing at all. They out here disturbing the peace. All right, Queen.
Confession time. I was doing the sleep bunkers. I kept building content everywhere.
Let me tell y'all one thing too about content creating, right? Craft. Momentum is a real thing, right? You start something, you like she was saying, and I agree, but then again I digress. It don't matter how many platforms you get on, as long as you're consistent and persistently posting and letting your presence be known, because you can easily get drowned out by the noise of the digital space, right? Online, there's billions of people online every day, especially right there on social media. So you want to be consistent. Let your favorite people get a chance to get to know you, get to see you, and be able to support you. Because if you're iffy, you're not consistent, they won't know that you exist. They'll see you once, you don't have a viral moment, or maybe not, but it might not be viral to you, but to them, they'll be like, wow, this video really helped give me some information. It really helped set me on the right course and started me on the right path, right? So it's just about being consistent, whether you're on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, everything, right? All social media. And I be on here the most, YouTube and Facebook. But then again, like I was saying, like I've been doing this for a whole year now, and I'm seeing momentum pile up. I'm starting to, see a little progress, and that's just the thing. I'm consistent, and I'm going to do the same thing all this year. If you guys want to join me, free blueprint below. Join my exclusive community.
Many investigations and last have been involved in reviewing some cases, of which this is one.
Big shout out
on the Roseland, and actually was living in the house that she was born in at the time of the murder. She was 5 days short of her 41st birthday when she was murdered.
Both were found in remote countryside, killed with a knife, and left with few forensic traces. The parallels, victim type, weapon, setting, were so specific that police publicly acknowledged the likelihood of a single offender, though no arrest ever followed. More than 25 years later, the dog walker murder came among Britain's eeriest coincidences. Two ordinary outings on quiet lanes ending in identical tragedy, with the same phantom possibly behind both.
The vagrant was seen around the area several times. On one occasion,
The vagrant came out from behind a tree, crossed the lane, and over the gateway. It was scary.
this was half a mile from him, on a route she used to walk. It was Wednesday, the 12th of November, 3 days before.
Yorkshire Ripper, how the police almost caught him several times.
For several years, women, especially here in West Yorkshire, were scared. Going out alone at night will risk. Peter Sutcliffe changed the way people lived.
Still, he's like Mo Lee, who was an art student in Leeds and survived when her.
Peter Sutcliffe, dubbed the Yorkshire Ripper, murdered 13 women and others across Northern England between 1975 and 80. Investigators interviewed him 9 times during the manhunt. Yet each time he slipped away, sometimes only streets from his crime scenes. Police were misled by the infamous Airside Jack hoax, which featured a fake accent on tapes and letters that diverted resources for years.
One of these top cable officers, is it Geordie? No. What's his name? It's Peter Sutcliffe. Now listen, boys. Peter Sutcliffe. Peter Sutcliffe is not the Yorkshire Ripper.
So Sutcliffe carried on killing.
Sutcliffe's arrest in 1981 came not but from a random traffic stop. Officers noticed his car carried false plates. Cruel coincidence is how close authorities came again and again, catching him earlier. For years, those brief encounters, routine checks with a future serial killer, have stood as Britain's most haunting near miss in criminal history.
Yorkshire Police has apologised for the way some senior officers spoke at the time about Sutcliffe's victims, a number of whom were sex workers. Forces Chief Constable said that while some language and attitudes may have reflected wider society at the time, they were wrong then and wrong now.
Muriel McKay, a failed case of mistaken.
What have you been doing today?
There's been a forensic search taking place most of the day.
Throughout the night, the police will be keeping up the strict security cordon they've placed around the farm. And tomorrow, more policemen will be drafted in.
In 1969, Muriel McKay vanished from her London home in a crime rooted in pure mistaken identity. Two brothers, Arthur and Nizamuddin Hussain, planned to kidnap Anna Murdoch, the then white newspaper magnate Rupert Murdoch, for ransom. But when they followed the wrong Rolls Royce, they abducted Muriel, her husband, and happened to drive a similar car.
As to whoever has got my mother-in-law, he's not going to crack this family. I mean that. As time goes on, obviously they'll spray a bit. But we've got plenty of reserves yet.
That's sad, man.
The kidnappers held her at Rook's farm in Hertfordshire, demanding £1 million. But she was never seen alive again.
Damn.
Both men were convicted in 1970, even though her body was never recovered. One of Britain's first no-body murder convictions. McKay's death remains a grim illustration of coincidence. An innocent woman killed because she happened to share the wrong address, car, and social orbit.
I'm so sorry to say that the search has been useful in finding Muriel remains or any evidence relating kidnap and murder. I appreciate that this will be dating for you, especially after all the work you have put in to.
Do y'all think they stopped looking for her? As cases go on every single day. But that doesn't mean you don't keep pushing manpower out there to find these missing individuals. And just to rule it out as a DOA, I mean, I think that sucks, right? People are grieving and they have no type of closure.
And the assassination parallel.
This amendment is that cure!
Did you experience appropriate behavior from a bishop member?
Videos, to be honest, right? You're supposed to be men of God, women of God, but excuse me, because not funny. Young kids, they go to church because they think that these people of God is going to help them live a secure life within their spirituality once they're awakened to the spiritual realm. As a 15-year-old, 14-year-old, maybe even 16-year-old, I was being mentored by a man of God who was sending demonic energies to me once I stopped doing the rituals and spells and all of this stuff that he had me doing, which I wasn't aware of until later on in life. And his name is Peter Popoff. I used to communicate with him, thinking everything was good. He teaching me things about the spirit, and the stuff that he had me doing was working. But I didn't realize that these were rituals and spells, and that he had the devil sending me things. That's why he kept me in touch, because he had asked for certain little things, like basically, if I need money, I'm gonna pray for money. We do this money ritual, whatever, right? And then I'll send him a little bit, like, yo, thanks for the handout, thanks for the good luck and whatever. Woo, woo, woo. Pay my tithes this way. Until one day he was like, we need you to plant these seeds. They was like some fruit trees or something, whatever, right? But my spirit was like, no, I didn't feel right doing it. And before that, I'm moving a little fast. I met him in Chicago. He's like, "Come check me out. I'm finna be in your area. I'll give you 2 tickets. You bring somebody with you, whatever." Woo, woo, woo. So I get there, right? We in the Hilton Hotel. There's like 800 people there. We're in the ballroom. This is downtown Chicago on the Magnificent Mile, Michigan Ave. In case if you wondering where it's at, a really nice location, really nice hotel. But anyway, when I'm in there, I'm just seeing like a big wizard, just got everybody on control. They running up to him like a celebrity. They giving him money, 200 at a time for a book, and it was like that just didn't sit right with my spirit. My girl calling me, she like, "Come check me out," you know what I'm saying? "Come chill with me." And I'm like, well, she was in Kenosha, so I'm like, hop on the train. It'll be like about an hour before I get there, whatever. Woo, woo. So I ended up leaving. I didn't stay the whole night, but I was like, this didn't sit right on my spirit. Just being there, seeing him do these things. And it was all about money. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nobody's in here being saved. They're all hypnotized to go run and give him this money, thinking that this just the miracle water. If you ever heard of miracle waters, this is the dude I'm talking about. And the miracle bread, the manas or whatever, that's the guy. He used to be on late night TV saying, "Hey, if you want a blessing, want a miracle, call." Woo, woo, woo. And I was one of them people who called and was fellowshipping with him for some amount of time. Anyway, right when I stopped sending money and I didn't ever plant those things. And the same night, well, the next night, I had a night terror where if you guys ever had a night terror, you familiar with it, this is what happens. You'll be asleep and suddenly woken by a pressure in your chest, like if somebody just sat on you and they're sitting down, pushing down hard. You can't really breathe. And then once you wake up, you don't see anybody, but you can't move or you can't talk. And then finally you start to see, and it's a big old Baphomet sitting there looking at you, and he's like very, very angry. You feel his presence. And then once he realizes you see him and he's looking, the pressure starts getting real harder, and it's like you're not familiar with who you are in Christ. You know, the moments you got to remember who you are and reclaim your power. So that's what I did. I started calling on Jesus, and I was set free, able to move and breathe again. And the Baphomet dipped; he was gone. So you got to really be careful with these preachers, these people, these so-called people of God, because just because they say they worship God, it might not be the same God that you are thinking of, or the same God that you worship as well as the same Jesus, like with the LDS people, right? It's a lot of weird stuff going on, but I just wanted to put that out there because as a young guy looking for um, guidance, right? You would think these people would have your best interests at heart. Just because your intentions are good, it doesn't mean that these people that are dealing with you have the best intentions. And once they realize, they will try to keep you within their covenant. It's like I broke out of their covenant. So that's why I received those spiritual attacks. And this didn't happen once. It was going on for years and years. It got to the point where I knew where it was going to happen, when it was about to take place, because the energies that you feel are not. It's very scary, but you don't have to be afraid.
We're stepped out upon the world now with the fate of human dignity in our hands. Freedom's built to afford us this moment now.
Two of America's most famous presidents were killed nearly a century apart, yet the coincidences connecting them fascinate. Abraham Lincoln was shot at Ford Theater in 1865, while John F. Kennedy was shot in 1963, riding in a Lincoln convertible.
From Damascus, the apparently official President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern, some 38 minutes ago.
Both men were shot in the head on Friday, succeeded by vice presidents named Johnson Andrew Johnson, born 1808, and Lyndon B. Johnson, born in 1908. And both assassins, John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, had 15 names and were killed for standing trial. Most are coincidences rather than conspiracy, but they remain among history's eeriest strings of repetition.
Has been shot.
Boys took in who else?
Good times. What was the low point for the Beach Boys?
Well, for the low point for the
I have to say that my cousin's choice in roommates, meaning Charlie Manson.
Before his name became synonymous with terror, Charles Manson briefly moved through California's music scene. In 1968, Beach Boys drummer Dennis Wilson picked up two female hitchhikers, Patricia Krenwinkel and Ella Jo Bailey, who introduced him to Manson. Wilson later invited them to his Sunset Boulevard home, unaware of who he was dealing with.
Go to the shower.
Right.
And, quote, somebody joined you in the shower.
Right.
I don't need details from that. Charles comes.
And opens the shower door.
Opens the shower door.
And says, you can't do that. I said, excuse me? You leave the group.
Within days, Manson and his followers living in and around Wilson's property, eating his food, using his cars, and burning through thousands of dollars in expenses. A song which became the Beach Boys' Never Learn Not to Love. When Wilson began to distance himself, Manson grew threatening to appear from his life. Months later, his cult's brutal murders made global headlines.
So it's funny because People magazine ran Beach Boys and their friendship with Charlie Manson. Well, it wasn't the Beach, it was Dennis Wilson. But he's one of the Beach Boys, so I mean by, an little group and their taste, style choices, and friendships influence us all.
A serial killer who posed with a first lady.
The final words of a serial killer, quote, taking my life would not compensate for the loss of the others. The state murdering me. The prosecutor put it this way. He got a much easier death than any of his...
1978, Chicago tracker John Wayne Gacy was photographed shaking hands with the First Lady, Rosalind Carter. A chilling image that only became infamous months later. At the time, Gacy was a respected local businessman who organized parades as director of Chicago's Polish Constitution Day. A civic role that granted him secret service clearance for the photo opportunity. What no one realized was that Gacy had already embarked on a killing spree that would claim the lives of 33 males. The picture stands as a literal snapshot of how convincingly evil can masquerade respectability.
He run the holes out in the street, start draining out the water, pumping the water out. While he's pumping the water out, that terrible smell coming out, Steve. I said, hey, John, I said, what do you got, a bunch of dead bodies? He said, what do you mean? I said, what do I mean? It smells like a bunch of dead bodies. Oh, no, those are raw dead field mice,
Ferdinand's fatal wrong turn.
Mr. Mayor, one comes here for a visit and is received by bombs. It is outrageous.
Sometimes history hinges on a single mistake. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and Sophie were visiting Sarajevo when their motor narrowly survived a failed bombing attempt. Later that morning, they decided to visit the wounded at a hospital. An unplanned change that confused their driver. Taking a wrong turn off Abel Quay, the car stopped and stalled as it tried to resist a fellow printer, a young nationalist who moments earlier believed his act had passed. He seized the opportunity, fatally shot both Ferdinand and Sophie. That single navigational error became the spark that ignited World War I, proving that sometime coincidence, wrong street, must change the course of global history.
That was a setup.
Training isn't about early. It's about being accurate.
So he knew he was going to follow that car.
2020.
Wait, destiny. But it was just a day fraught with mistakes. It's amazing.
If given the correct order to start with, he would never made the turn. Archduke Franz Ferdinand and Sophie would never have been killed.
At Wild Murders, the splash that broke the case.
Funeral services were held for 15-year-old Joseph Bell, the 24th victim in Atlanta's trial slayings. As Bruce Hall reports, a woman reported now to authorities about a man she to some of the crimes.
Between 1970 and 1981, at least 29 black children and young adults were killed in a wave of terror that gripped Atlanta. The investigation, codenamed Kid, consumed the city until a random sound broke the case.
Everybody wake up.
We gotta protect the kids. Like, it's wild, dog. It's just wild. Really, really sickening. The type of mindset that people have.
We're here. Out of the bridge. Good down now.
Okay, clear.
In the early hours of May 22, 1981, police were staking out the James Jackson Parkway Bridge over the Chattahoochee River, near where bodies had been found. They heard a loud splash, then stopped a car leaving the bridge, driven by Wayne Bertram Williams.
Name isn't on this registration.
It's my uncle's car.
Why you have it?
For work.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm in the music business. Nighttime is the right time.
Right time for...
Mind if I search your vehicle, Mr. Willis? Sure, go ahead.
His shaky alibi collapsed when 2 days later, downstream, Williams was later convicted of killing Cater and G. Ray Payne, with fiber evidence linking him to many other victims.
Wow.
John Lennon autographed his killer's album.
This entire half hour will be devoted to the murder of John Lennon, ex-Beatle, one of the best and most influential people of his time. As you heard Dr. Stephen Lynn at Roosevelt Hospital in New York City say, Lennon was shot at about 11 o'clock last night outside his apartment building.
On December 8, 1980, former Beatle John Lennon signed the album that would become evidence in his own murder. Afternoon, outside New York's Dakota apartments, Lennon stopped up Double Fantasy for Mark Davis Chapman, a fan who'd been loitering since morning. Photographer Paul Goresh captured the moment. Lennon's calm politeness, Chapman's eerie composure, and the record would later be tagged as crime scene evidence. Hours later, spot and shot Lennon 4 times in the back. As he and Yoko Ono returned home from a recording, the signed album was later sold at auction, still bearing Lennon's last signature and Chapman's fingerprints.
Have you ever wondered what would happen to missionaries from the
Being killing. Like, what kind of obsession? And people weird. Like, it must be hard being an entertainer, you know, a celebrity. You got people who envy you and people who truly appreciate the things that you contribute to society as far as your art, your work, your time. You know, the sacrifices that you make to do the things that you do as far as your art, your craft, whatever it is that you produce for the world. Whether it be music like John Lennon, leadership like John F. Kennedy. A lot of this stuff is way before my time, but I like to know a few things that was going on because this mindset never changes. The people that does these things are being inhibited by the spirit that does this for eternity. It's a spirit of murder, a spirit of lust, you know, that hops into these pedophiles that's always attacking the kids. There's a spirit that's out here looking for a body that keep doing what they doing for eternity, right? Because we're eternal beings. And when you have that type of mindset and you're in that type of activity, that's what you're going to do for the rest of your time being, right? So you got to really be mindful to think about this type of stuff. Like when you're being tempted to be used for this type of evil, just know that this is the type of thing that's going to continuously go on because that's the spirit that does these things. Like murder, like I just said, right? Why do you think it happens daily, yearly? It's been going on from the beginning of time. It's a spirit that does this. And yeah, I ain't gonna keep y'all waiting. I'm just letting y'all know like what's going on in the world. It's a lot of mysterious crimes, a lot of death. Somebody just got hurt today. Someone died yesterday. And it's just the mindset, you know. People are victims all the time. It's a battle of the mind. We're a victim whether you know it or not, whether you want to be or not. You just have to be vigilant of what's going on in the world. Not saying that you can save your life because the whole mission to live is to die, right? Those are the only things we have to do in this world is live and die and try to do the best we can in between time because that's the only things that's for sure, for certain to happen with us. It's not avoidable, you know. We could try and try and try, but at some point in time, we're all going to be in another reality. Hopefully, we'll be there together, and if not, you know, hopefully, we're in a better place than here. I do got way better type of like stuff like this. If y'all but I was thinking it was gonna be a little better than what it is. I'm gonna just finish it off. Though.
You sure? That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Nice job.
You're welcome.
Dummer and the Syntheson Foam brothers.
How old are you? Just asking a question. How old are you?
21.
You're right. Want me to get you something? What do you want?
Serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer's crimes were horrifying enough, but one coincidence makes them nearly unbelievable.
And like I was just saying about lustful spirit, where he's gay, he's raping men, and the other spirit of murder, where that's another thing he do after he do the first thing. This man double fucked up, right?
Dahmer was convicted of sexually assaulting Somsack at the Somphone and received a suspended sentence with probation. Just 3 years later, at Somsack's younger brother Conorak on a Milwaukee street and murdered him. On the night of May 27, 1991, neighbors found Conorak dazed and bleeding. Police questioned Doug, convinced them the boy was his adult lover.
Do you know this kid? Yes, sir. This is my boyfriend.
He came out of his apartment. He was talking crazy. He's butt naked and he doesn't know what's going on.
The victim back to apartment.
That sounds like the Diddy, the original Diddy and Epstein. Talking about you, what? Oh no, we can't just skip past that part.
Unknowingly delivering him to his death, fired for negligence.
You guys, I don't know what you guys do, just take care. Okay?
Yeah, you will. Thanks, officers. Sorry again.
I mean, we gotta go take a shower. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Sorry about that. You guys have a good night.
That one tragic overlap, a killer meeting and murdering the brother of a prior victim, is among the darkest coincidences in true crime history. Serious dating game winner.
Well, let's see. Brancher number one is a photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed. Between takes, he might find motorcycling. Please welcome Rob. Rob, welcome.
In 1978, the television show The Dating Game gave a national platform to an unassuming bachelor named Rodney Alcala, who was, at that very moment, an active serial killer. Charming and articulate, Alcala won the audience and the contestant, Cheryl Bradshaw, who later refused to go out with him, saying he seemed creepy. That instinct made save her life.
Well, I like bananas.
Number one. That's your number one. All right.
He looked wild.
If you're landing a legit remote job right now, make job boards. Those platforms have millions of.
A lot of people just be so thirsty to be with somebody, and they fuck around being in the worst situations they ever been. If they could have just stayed by themselves and work on themselves and attract better, and go for better, because we all have somebody, but that don't mean just go fuck with any and everybody, right? You got to really protect yourself, because if your desires are unchecked and you don't have any type of discipline to yourself, you'll be putting yourself in any type of situation.
Alcala had already murdered Robin Samso by DNA to several others across the U.S. The bizarre coincidence of Predator using as a romantic game show contestant remains one of the most surreal intersections between entertainment and evil ever recorded.
I'm a jerk, and I'm going to audition each of you for my private class. Bachelor number one. You're a dirty old man. Take it.
Come on, over here.
When a speech stopped a bullet. Theodore Roosevelt's near-death fluke.
100 years ago, it wasn't that hard to run up to a president on a downtown street. What occurred on October 14th, 1912. Assassination of a one-time sitting president right here.
During a campaign stop in Milwaukee on October 14th, 1912, President Theodore Roosevelt was shot at by William Fleming.
One thing I could see really, but the spirit is kind of off. Like, I practiced Buddhism in Milwaukee for the first time, and it's just like a spirit in that place. It's something truly, I don't know, like mesmerizing. Like they say with the mermaids, you hear that sound and you're gone, right? It's just spirit there that just lingers around. It's wild. It's a beautiful place, nevertheless, but it's not one that you want to really settle in like that because people weird, dog. You see, all of these, majority of these cases came from Wisconsin. I've been all through the Midwest. I love Wisconsin. I like Illinois, Michigan, Ohio. Um, some weird things go on in the world, though. I'm not just going to sit here and act like it's only in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. It's all across the states, all across the globe. But you just got to be knowing what type of mindset is where. Like, over there, they're doing that type of.
Miraculously, Roosevelt survived, thanks to Vince's no-fiction writer invent. The bullet's path was slowed by the thick contents of his jacket pocket, 50-page folded speech, and a metal eyeglass case.
Now, you think next stop would be the hospital. Roosevelt refused. He insisted his team take him down Kilbourne to the old Milwaukee Theater. The crowd not what they heard.
He was introduced, and when he walked down, huge standing, and he said, I've just been shot. And please be quiet. I can't speak as loudly as I normally do.
Full of words, and an almost mythic near-miss changed history's headlines by pure chance.
Roosevelt went on the rest of his life with that bullet still in his chest. Doctors determined it was internal organs. The gunman, but the rest of it go insane.
That's easy right here. You see the one that's bent, like I can't even open this one right here. Compared to this hand, like how it's just flat, right? It's stuck in this one right here. I got shot right here. And then it went in my skin and it came up through here and stayed in there. Whenever I go to jail or I get x-rays, they be like, yeah, I noticed something in your hand. I'm like, yeah, it's a pellet. It's weird. And the worst thing about it, when the winter time hits and this pellet inside here gets cold, it freezes up and it like burns my bone. It really, like, it take a while to kind of unthaw. It's irritating feeling. But that's a constant reminder that you have metal in your hand or in your body if you ever experience things like
that. One kidnapping, one killer.
Kenneth Parnell stops the car and he goes, Stephen, your parents spoke to them. They no longer want you.
And Parnell told him that you're going to be my son. He kept giving him this cough him.
Some coincidences are so tragic they feel impossible. In 1972, 7-year-old Stephen Stainer was kidnapped in California and held captive by Kenneth Parnell for more than 7 years. Miraculously, he escaped in 1980, rescuing another abducted child in the process. Yet,
dude, yeah, hey, like what you doing with that voice? Easy, dog. Like what? Hold on. These are why I be playing these videos. It's a little bit entertaining as well, like what's going on. I like to do the detective type work to see what happened, how they got them, what was the mindset they was in when they did it, why did they do it? I got questions. I want to know what's going on. But the truth of the matter is, it don't matter what answer they give. At the end of the day, those are what you call a drifter, They're able to plant those thoughts in their mind. They're not able to combat those thoughts, and they allow their body to be used as a vessel to commit those sins and those atrocious acts. It's sad though, when people black out, you're being a vessel for these demonic entities to hop in you and use your vessel. We often entertain angels not knowing, so it's best to be cool to treat people how you want to be treated, because you never know when you're in the presence of an angel, and you never know when you're in the presence of a demon trying to get out of their body to hop into yours. For real, for real. That's why every Friday, every Saturday, people go drink alcohol, because there's a spirit inside of that, and it gets to go free for a lot of people that goes out entering these situations as far as partying and clubbing, and not even consciously knowing that they're a vessel to be used for these demons that comes out on these days through these channels. And people be like, I can handle it, I can do this, I can do that, but at the end of the day, the truth is, no, you can't. Because if you could, you wouldn't do it at all, right? It's just like drinking poison, eating poison. It'd be like, I could just do a little bit because it tastes so good, but now you're hooked. And that door opens more doors to other things that you don't want to have part of your life. Family members, like I was just showing you the dude, Jeffrey Dahmer, right? He's a murderer, and that sibling has a lustful spirit, over sexual spirit. And that comes with a thief, and that comes with a liar, and that comes with um a lot of different other things, right? They're all in the same family. They're all in the same vibrational space. Whenever you're vibrating low, you're going to experience doubt, fear, lack, frustration, and so many other things, right? That's why I'm always about vibes. I'm always talking about energy, and it's the main reason I advocate for mental health awareness as well. Because where the mind goes, that you think about the most, that you spend time putting energy and emotions into whatever you're thinking about. You think about the things that make you mad, and you entertain those thoughts. You're gonna have energy to make you spaz out in an angry way or impulsive way, right? And this is not emotional intelligence. Not taking the time to think about what you're thinking about. Also, not being aware. Knowing is different from knowing, right? We all know that there is a God, but a lot of people don't know God. So that's what I mean by knowing and knowing are two different things. Actually aware in the moment of what they're doing and what they're thinking about, not meaning. Therefore, a lot of people are not accountable because they're not aware of being aware. And you would think people are aware and conscious of what's going on, but usually 9 times out of 10, people's minds are in the future or their minds are in the past. And in the present moment, you're speaking to an empty vessel, or you're dealing with an empty vessel whose minds is drifting. And this is how the devil able to use them, because they're not aware of being aware. And by the time they realize the present moment, they don't have any energy to combat what they just done, the situations that they put themselves in. This is what we call regret. Not living in the moment, not being aware, being a drifter, and being used by the enemy to do whatever it is that sin that commit. And sin is just anything that makes you unhappy with who you are and what you are. Living in regret, living in doubt, living in fear. These are sins. I didn't come on here to preach. I just wanted to give some enlightenment on, the dangers of the world. You see what's going on the news. They don't mind showing you this type of stuff, because these are demons out here having fun, doing what they do best, taking souls for their kingdom. That's what it's about, right? Like I say, it's a spiritual battle. It's a battle of the mind. It's constant. And this is the balance of them both. And also the way that you live your physical life. And this world is a fallen world. We're called to holiness, which means we're called to think differently and to be set apart than this world. The same way that Jesus was. His mindset was so different. The things that he spoke was so out of this world. The truth is hard to bite. The truth is hard to deal with. The truth is hard to live with. That's why the truth is always compressed and compound and pushed away and put in darkness. And you're persecuted for speaking the truth, where your platform's cut off. You know how it goes. And the world rewards liars, because this world is what it is. It's full of demonic activity. It's full of all of these things that keep you distracted, like what was going on in the news, right? And that's how do you go into a lower vibration when you focus on these things, because the news always pushing out fear. It's always pushing out division. You know, they never tell you anything good because this is the energy that they want to use. This is the vibration that they need to keep you on so that they can have more energy to do the things that they are doing, are keeping you guys distracted and keeping you not thinking for yourself when the things and the truth is right in your face. That's why the truth is stranger than fiction. We'll sit here and watch the truth all the time, but have no discernment on what's really real. And what I mean by that, like, you will see these monsters on TV and fictional cartoons or sci-fi movies, and you'll think it's just all entertainment, but in reality, all actuality, there are some truth to these things and some of this technology that's being used. I always used to talk with my father about the technology. He didn't think, or maybe he do now, but I don't know. Stuff just for the movie, you think that's not fake? I mean, you think the technology is fake they're using? Like Star Wars, right? That's been out for the longest. You don't think they really out here flying those bikes and been flying them? Those, uh, I forget what they call it, the lightsaber swords or whatever. I'm not a Star Trek fan, a Star Wars fan, or any of that type of stuff, but I am aware of it. You know, I just that's why I have to say that because I don't know what the stuff called, but I know about it, and I just say that to say this, like, be vigilant, be alive, and to be alive is to be accountable and to be conscious. So many people are living but not really alive, and so many people are alive but not really living, meaning they're just experiencing day to day with no passion, no purpose. But yeah, I'm gonna cut this and end this, and hopefully you guys have a really wonderful weekend and a good night. I'm enjoy myself as well. But what I do want to push out for tomorrow is this. I want to bring it back with Dr. Sabi's son, so you guys can see like a personal experience from someone who been detained from Honduras, trying to be in America to continue his father's work. He has healing shops in Brooklyn, New York. I have never been to his healing shops. I have been in New York, Manhattan. It's really, really beautiful out there as well. The people is, it's a culture shock. I never thought that I'd see those people that I saw out there. It was like Italians, not Italians, but Serbians. It was a lot of people I didn't even know, right? It was so much fun though. I'm either gonna pull up tomorrow so that you can hear his story, or I'm gonna just let you guys on the other side of it who don't mind using their powers to destroy you. Someone who's an ex Satanist. I know you guys probably don't believe in this type of stuff. You probably don't even think that it's real that people worship Satan, that this Satanism is a real thing. But actually, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna play the intro, and then we're gonna finish this out tomorrow. I'm hopefully be on by 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I ain't gonna say for sure. Just put y'all notification bells on because I don't really have a set schedule, to be honest. This is from 200 Acre Reacts. He from Alabama, stayed in Huntsville. Used to be in Birmingham from time to time. Nice out there. It remind me of Chicago, just a country Chicago with hills. And this guy right here, his podcast is Stranger Than Fiction, I believe. I'm gonna just run it back because I forgot. But I'm only gonna play the intro, then we go. All right. And again, peace and blessings and much love to our team, Angie. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and working with us and joining the team. We're growing strong. We're trying to get to 500. Once we do that, I'm gonna be doing some subscribers. It's free to rock it with me. I'm going to show my love and support to you all. 500, I'll be sending out either PayPal, Zelle, money wire, whatever, right? I don't know how you guys like to leave your money. I'll even you are and just give you the cash and we'll figure it out. But once I hit 500, I'm doing a cash giveaway. Things happen for me. And through Team Angie. But hold on. Let me June. I mean, I do them on July 3rd, but advertising around June for that. So you guys know how to participate and be involved.
Knowledge video, you know what I'm saying, of the work can't really fight Trey until you know how he works. Now, this guy was a former satanic wizard, and he get deep into the things that Satanists practice. And once you hear some of the things that he say, it is at the end of the video. I will say, watch this video. It's at the end of the video. You will really see satanic these Satanists are. I said satanic. Oh my God, how evil these Satanists are. Some of the things that they do and how warped mentally they are, you will understand how important it is for you to wake up and bless your pray against the workings of the enemy, because they're really after your kids. I guarantee you, if a Satanist is watching my video right now, they probably got every potion in the world trying to curse it. That don't fear me. Nothing fears me, because God has not given me the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind. You shouldn't be afraid of no Satan or the workings of the enemy. Nothing that he do, he operates on cockroach power. Just think of a cockroach. It looks scary. You know how if you see a cockroach, you would jump, but it can't do nothing to you. Just step on it. That's to us who are believers. We're not afraid of that stuff. God has the spirit that he gave us. It's not a fearful spirit. So anytime you feel a spirit in the name of Jesus, because that's not of God. God have not given us that spirit. So as you watch this video, just learn from it. And I want y'all to see how wicked Satan is, and I want y'all to wake up every morning and bless y'all region. I bless my region, and every morning that no demonic activity will go on in my region. I bind every spirit of witchcraft, every spirit that is coming against our kids in my whole region. I bind it right now in the name of Jesus. You gotta bind it every day. You wake up.
Well, yeah, that's all I really wanted to play. I see they want to cut up when we get to talk about. I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop my TikTok. And that's something that I think of why I started reading from my book of inspiration that has inspirational words from the book of the Bible, which I do split the verses from the Bible that inspired the reading for the day, which I read every single day. I started last year. I slowed down a little bit in March when my auntie passed away just for some mental health and for a little bit of grieving time and a few more times throughout the year, just trying to keep myself together because I am evolving, I am growing, and I do have to take care of my mental health. Certain things that bother me disturbs me, and I have to work on myself. Just like if you were sick, you're going to take care of yourself to get better. There's no difference with your spirit. You have to feed your spirit to keep your spirit healthy, right? And yeah, I decided, and the way that I know Jesus is by spending time with him. Like my relationship is my relationship. Like I can't tell you nothing about who you date because that's who your relationship with, right? I can't tell you nothing about that. Just like nobody can tell me anything about who I know to be my God, right? That's why I always say I don't believe in God, I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in nothing. Because I know for a fact what I know. I know God for myself, so I don't get mixed up in other people's belief and need in them like I had them before. And I've known by experience that you got to know God for yourself. Like I was dealing with this guy that I thought was a spiritual man, on TV, think he's successful, but this man was sending demonic entities to me on a spiritual attack. I never had any night terrors until I was dealing with dude, and I know exactly Now I know exactly where it come from, but years before I didn't know. I just thought it was what it was. I just thought it was what it was, right? And people, I didn't want to tell people because it's embarrassing when you had these attacks. Even in jail, they like, yo, you was mumbling in your sleep. You straight? I'm like, shit, no, I wasn't straight. Glad you woke me up because I was having an attack. And then they be like, well, damn, like, they scared too. They don't want to talk about this shit, but other people there denounce it like, oh, that you off the drugs or whatever, right? Or they just don't want to hear it because it's scary and they don't want to experience this type of stuff. But it is what it is, right? I have to deal with it. I had to deal with it, and whether I deal with it alone or with people who are followers of Christ, it is what it is. I figured it out, and therefore, I move with power now. I don't be amongst believers because being amongst believers, they have other things that attach to them, and I don't want to open no more of those spiritual doors like I did when I was practicing Buddhism. And you got, like you said, you got to bind that stuff and denounce from that stuff because when you don't know, you don't know. You'll be partaking in rituals and witchcraft and doing all this type of stuff unwillingly, unknowingly, or willingly and unknowingly, must I say? Because sometimes, like even with the Church of God of Christ, they do rituals on every first of the Sunday. They eat the bread, drink the blood. That's cannibalism. And when you basically rebirth yourself, dipping in the water, they have different customs. They have different rituals, is what they call them customs, because they don't want to get wrapped up in these worldly things. But nevertheless, they do partake in these activities. Not every man of God is a godly man. So that's why I'm saying that, because you got to really be careful who you follow up behind. You'll be following up behind somebody who's on their way to hell. And like company, right? Not every miserable person looks unhappy. They might come in the form of a paycheck. You bound to some miserable money, and now you're in constant debt. You have it, but you're never able to hold on to it to make it work for you, right? That's why so many millionaires are unhappy and miserable when they have to continuously work for money, because they claim their money's working for them. They're such a businessman, such a businesswoman, but yet still they're out here partaking in foolish activities. And who am I talking about? Like 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj. 50 Cent, such a businessman, so rich and so powerful. He can buy up the whole neighborhood, but he got so much time to be Twitter fingering and, AI clickbait. Well, I ain't finna go into that. I don't have any problem with the man, but I'm just saying, the ways of the world, the way that the worldly people think. There's a lot of billionaires, a lot of trillionaires, but you don't see them out here on the internet doing all of this trolling stuff and being petty, because the world, they're set apart. You don't even see them, you don't hear from them because they're not entertaining this world with the foolishness. And when they are speaking, they're being shut off, they're being cut out because they're speaking truth. Um, I'm just hearing a little tingling. This usually, like, I have different signs and symbols when the spirit realm is either near me or they're speaking on my name. Um, like with the numbers, right? Usually I have thoughts. I'm trying to figure something out. You see like 444, 1111, or 111, whatever, right? Those sequences, or 1234, which is 1234. That's how I know the spirit is always connected with me. Signs and symbols are for the conscious mind. If you know, you know, and you'll know how God speaks to you. You won't have to be out here joining church to church, looking at every like, it just don't make sense, dog. And it took me some time to really get this down packed and to know for myself. Like, don't let everybody pray for you. Don't let everybody tell you what you can and cannot be. Know yourself, like Drake always saying. But anyway, peace and blessings and happy Friday from Team Angie. I appreciate you all, and peace and blessings to my new subscribers, the new team members. I appreciate you all for rocking with me. We're gonna make this an awesome year. And if you new to my frequency, you like this type of information, please join the team. We're trying to grow to 500. Once I reach 500 subscribers, I'm going to do a cash giveaway. I do giveaways for the past 3 years, but this will be something special only for my YouTube community. And if you're a part of my Facebook and you're seeing this, you know how to get this money if you want to be a part of it, then at that point, I'm going to be rewarding somebody really, really soon. I might do 2 to 3 people. I don't know. I might even do 5 people. I think I might do 5. I don't know, but it's going to be more than one person. That's just to be fair, because I like to be a fair person, and it's more than one of y'all who's supporting me. So it's more than one